Yo! We're live. It's happening. I had a lot of stuff to go over today. Before I unveil my screen, I just gotta make sure everything is running properly. Let's take a look. Give me 1 second. Alright, it looks good. I think everything looks good. I think I'm gonna unsheath my screen. Let me bring this down a little bit. Oh, where am I? Hey, I'm here. Okay. All right. Can you hear me okay? My audio should be better this time. I turned the gain up on my computer audio. That's been a problem. I've had it like maxed out. And so for me, it sounds fine. But then, you know, in the recording, it sounds bad. And I'm trying to take this stuff and cut it up and turn it into other videos for you guys. But it's like, it's been tough because my audio has been messed up. It's been a messed up situation. So here's the deal. I got a couple of things to go over today. First of all, here's what you can expect from today's show. I have been in some hot water. One of my videos has gotten kind of popular. I guess for this channel, it's pretty big, right? I did a clip from my last stream where I was kind of getting a little bit unhinged, frankly. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit unhinged at Hasan Piker. Okay, I was going a little crazy, and honestly, I went a little crazier on Vosh later on in the stream. They weren't my best moments. You know, I'm moderate politically, but that doesn't mean I don't get mad. I do get mad. I do crash out sometimes, and that's not what I want to do. I want to do well-reasoned, well-documented. I mean, why do you think I usually have a Google Doc? And let me tell you something. Okay? Because today is no different. I have a Google Doc. I got a comment, and it was a reasonable comment. It was well put. They made their point. You know, and I want to go into it, but I want to explain some things, right? I want to get into this Hasan stuff in a way that kind of makes a little bit more sense. I want to kind of explain my position from before, so let me see if I can, hopefully I don't dox my channel page by doing this. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to show you just some. This is a video. It's, for me, it's kind of popped off. This is kind of popped off too. What the hell? I didn't even notice. That's crazy. This one has popped off though. I've gotten a lot of it. I've gotten a lot of comments on here. Okay, so there's one that I responded to here. When you introduce him with statements that clearly show you hate the guy, it makes someone like me less likely to watch your clearly biased video. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's totally fair. That's totally and completely fair. Because you don't know all the things I know about him. Let me move myself out of the way. I'm kind of in the way here. Let me put myself over here. Okay, so because you don't know all the things that I know about him. So that's totally a fair assessment of my video. I think that's completely fair. And you know what? I was looking back at this stream, and the main reason I had a video I was going to put up from that stream, I took it down before it came up because I decided I wanted to fix some stuff. The audio is really bad, and I was just going to go through with the next couple of videos with the bad audio, but I decided I'm going to change things up a little bit and see if I can fix the audio. So if you're here and you're listening live, please let me know in chat if there's any audio issues. That way I can get it squared away. So basically, he says, I watch Hasan all the time. He gets clipped out of context a lot, gets attacked all the time. Often viewers will give him unverified info. He'll push back because it's unverified. I didn't this video, but I will leave another comment on my thoughts. right? So, and he did. I have the comment. I don't know why it's not immediately visible to me. But basically, I was talking about Hasan. I did a video that a lot of people did where they were going over what Hasan just did. That was pretty crazy. Nothing about this video is taken out of context, by the way. The clip is not taken out of context, and that was my big pushback. Like, I'm not gonna fight with you in my comments section. I'm just gonna let you say whatever you need to say, for the most part. But this guy says the idea that he's clipped out of context. I responded. I said the idea that he's clipped out of context is verifiably false. Like, there's so many different examples where they claim that he's taken out of context, but he's just not. He's just not taken out of context. So I went ahead and I took some time out of my day because I thought this would be instructive, right? So that's why the thumbnail is what it is. I'm basically going to be deconstructing communism in a big way while I go through this. Let's just call it a sneak peek in my communism documentary that I'm still working on. Also, I wrote another documentary on nihilism that'll be coming out in like 4 or 5 days. So be excited for that. We've got ourselves a bot in chat. We love bots. Welcome to the chat. Always happy to have a bot in chat. So this was his big comment, and I don't know why I can't find it. Maybe he got rid of it. I don't know. So I'm basically going to be taking apart everything in this comment. This is just going to be the first, like, maybe hour of this video, and then we're going to be moving into the Epstein stuff. So this is your teaser. This is what's going on today. So today, I'm breaking down this Hasan stuff. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more reasoned. I'm going to have more information, more data, more facts. I'm not going to just flip out and crash out like I did the other day on stream. I'm going to make sure that if I'm mad, you're going to know why I'm mad, and you're going to be on the same page as me, because and after that, we're going to be going into the Epstein stuff a little bit. I have a lot of views on that. The biggest thing I'm going to say about that right now, before we even start getting into this stuff, is that I never wanted Pam Bondi. I thought Matt Gaetz was a good pick, and then when they switched to Pam Bondi because of bullshit, I really was mad. I was very upset about it because I didn't trust her, and she was one of the AGs in Florida when the story on Epstein got covered up before. So I'm like, how are you going to put her in charge of it again? Hey, welcome to the show. Make sure, Meryl, welcome to the show. When we watch this first video here, I just want you to let me know if the audio is any good. Just let me know in chat. But thanks for joining me. Now, this Hasan guy, just for some backup information, he's extremely anti-Israel, which that's not really my issue with him. There's a lot of people who are anti-Israel. They have their reasons. I'm kind of in between. That's one of those issues I kind of fence sit on. There's some things I don't like about Israel. There's some things I do like about Israel. I would say it's a pretty mixed bag for me. I wouldn't say I'm on the Nuxtaku side of things where I'm just like, oh, they're great and blah, blah, blah. But on the other end, Hasan is way over the top. There's a difference between, you know... Thank you. Thank you, Meryl. There's a difference between having a hatred for this war and the war efforts and all this other stuff and where Hasan goes, right? But we're not even really focusing on the Israel part of Hasan's beliefs. It's the same with any country. That's absolutely true. It's the exact same with any country, okay? So let's go through this comment, and I'm not going to do it all at once, but you're going to see as we go throughout the video, you're going to see how I've kind of deconstructed it and how we've gone through all this different stuff, okay? So this was a comment to my last video where I was talking about Hasan. We have Hasan was born in America. Everyone on the right calls him a communist, but he's a socialist. So that's number one. There's a difference. Also, treason can only be charged if you're compromising the security of a nation. Nothing Hasan does compromises America's security. He's not giving intelligence to a foreign government, and he's not a spy. So calling him a traitor because he's critical of America's actions would not meet the criteria for treason. There are multiple ways to look at groups like the Houthis. There are resistance groups that have been labeled terrorists by America, and the only reason they're terrorists is That's all Israel needs to say to justify the bombing of Gaza. And for over a year, they're all Hamas and they're all terrorists. Was all the West needed to support the indiscriminate bombing, targeting hospitals and killing mostly children. A lot of innocent people not being caught in the crossfire, they're being targeted, and no one from the Western media defends them. Hasan was one of the few that defended them since the start, and groups like the Houthis were some of the only ones that would put up a resistance to the ethnic cleansing taking place. I respect that you're against the death penalty, and with that being said, I assume you would be against the targeting terrorist through human shield and see it as morally wrong. There is no defending Israel's actions at this point, and they've been occupying the West Bank for over 50 years, creating illegal settlements in their land, and they've had a blockade on Gaza for at least 18 years. Peace is only possible if the people who hold the power want peace. If me holding the power tells you have to let me use your garage and the first floor of your house, and those are my terms for peace, would you agree to those terms? Probably not. And now I can say you refuse to agree to the peace, and you're now a terrorist because I hold the power. And that's how Israel operates, and how our foreign policy operates. So this is what this commenter said. I disagree or think that you're wrong about almost everything you said in this comment, which is why I couldn't just respond to you. So there's a reason why everyone on the right calls him a communist, and that's what a lot of this video in the first portion is going to be about today, actually. It's not just that he claims he's a socialist and that people think that socialism is communism. The right isn't as stupid as you think. We're not falling for it. I say we. I don't really identify as on the right. I identify as a moderate. But nowadays, the right is the moderate party. So it is what it is. I'm going to speak like that sometimes. Just let it slide. There's a difference. So you're right about that. Hasan was born in America. That's a big point. I mean, I barely mentioned it, and I wasn't sure if he was or he wasn't. He basically wasn't, though. He was born in New York, but he was raised in Turkey, and then came back later. Okay, so yeah, sure, technically he was born in America. I'm not in favor of those kinds of citizenships existing. I don't think that's right. And most other countries are in agreement with me. If I wanted to go and be a citizen in Indonesia right now, they don't even have dual citizenship. I would have to renounce my American citizenship in order to be a citizen in Indonesia. Okay, these other countries don't put up with this shit the way that we do. And this birthright citizenship thing is a pretty good thing, I think, that the Trump is doing by trying to get rid of it. And there's a reason why I like him and support him. He is a moderate, you know. So anyway, so I looked into this treason claim that I was talking about last stream, because like I said, I went a little over the top. And you're right, he's not. And I don't really think anybody is saying that he's a spy. Thoughts are not of the American way. I think it's a cultural problem. There's a culture here in the US, and like you can come here and integrate into the culture, and that's all well and good, and we love those immigrants, but it's just a different thing, you know. I don't know, like theoretically you could have an actual like Chinese communist spy come to this country, have a baby who's born in America, bring them back to China, raise them through the CCP, train them as a spy, give them media training, have them come back, run for president, and then they win, and now the China can just own the United States. Like, that's totally ridiculous, like on its face. And I realize that that's a really exaggerated version of what could possibly happen, but I mean, that's not really the point. Let's get back on track here. So calling him a traitor, nobody's really calling him a spy. The point really here is that his support for terrorist groups is dancing on the border of what is legally even able to be said, right? So there's certain things he goes and he just takes it one step too close to that line. Okay, I'm not saying he's actually a terrorist. He's not actually providing material support to terrorism, although that is actually debatable. He's got a massive audience. He regularly advertises for terrorist groups. He shows terrorist group propaganda. Like, if we found out that somebody was encouraging him or giving him even a penny to do that, that would be treason. So that's how close he is to the line. And what's really important about all this is that, how do I put this? It's a complicated idea. What's really important about this is that we need to make sure that we're protecting free speech while we're getting into this stuff, but we also can't be we can't be sacrificing our mental state and our ability to be reasonable to people who are supporting terrorists. I mean, you can have all these beliefs, you can be anti-Israel, you can do all these things, but you can't be pro-terrorist. You know, it's just insane. Okay, so let's see. I think the rest of this we're just gonna kind of clean up as we go. So we'll skip past this for now. Now, if you are somebody who watches and enjoys Hasan's content, Meryl, I know that this is going to be a little lost on you, but because this is the first you're probably hearing about this guy. But this guy has gone on his stream in front of thousands of people and said, I 10 toes down support the Houthis, right? This guy has said that the Hamas terrorists are freedom fighters, not Palestinians, but the Hamas terrorists. In fact, he gets upset when you talk about the Palestinians instead of Hamas, because he knows that or he says that they're the same thing. So a lot of the people who watch Hasan don't see Hasan's content from other, streams. Okay. And so I'm going to start by showing you an interview that he did with Piers Morgan. Again, let me know if the audio is low.
Because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital got bombed.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
No, I'm not calling
I'm
you
a propagandist.
I'm just saying. I'm going to play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then, I want to
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you even play it.
Okay, I'm going to play the clip. This is your reaction to the bombing of the hospital.
Now, really quickly, everybody likes to say that people take him out of context. This is a really common pushback that people get. I'm going to roll this back because I wanted you to see that. This is not out of context at all. This is just what he is. He says that. He believes that. This is what he is. So we're going to watch the whole first 2 minutes. We're not watching the whole video.
He only cares about Israeli citizens. He does not care about Palestinians as human beings. That's why it's apples to oranges. It's like one side is a human. The other side is a barbaric monster child.
I never said that, obviously. He says that he'd like nothing more than to come on to Uncensored and call me a baboon in a suit to my face. Well, here I am, a baboon, and he can join me now.
Okay, great.
I'm
thank
joined
you.
by Hasan. Hasan, thank you very much indeed for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Piers. It's very early here in Los Angeles, California, but I'm going to try to do my very best to not do my British accent while I'm here.
Well, I appreciate that. And listen, I appreciate you coming on.
Very
Explain
funny,
to me why
very charming,
you
media
consider
trained.
me a stenographer for the Israeli government, given that in the last week, I think more than any other host in the world, I have given lengthy platforms to pro-Palestinian voices to articulate that side of the argument.
No, I do have to commend you. You certainly have had more pro-Palestinian voices than the rest of the British media and certainly the rest of Western media in general. Now, as far as saying that you're a stenographer, I said that journalists are not supposed to be stenographers.
The hard part here is I have to interrupt, but I also have to show the whole context, otherwise I will be accused of taking him out of context. This is like an intentional trick that Hasan viewers really like to do, so we're gonna just continue.
And yet, when it comes down to it, in most circumstances, in whatever conflict we may be in, there are stenographers for whichever party is aligning with the
this is a confrontational, Meryl, this is a confrontational conversation, so they're not going to be smiling from the get-go.
State Department and the interests of the West in general, and Israel happens to be the one in this ongoing.
They are.
It's interesting that you call me a propagandist, because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital got bombed.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
No, I'm not calling
I'm
you
a
that.
propagandist.
I'm just saying. I'm going to play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then I want to
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you
put
even play it.
Okay, I'm going to play the clip. This is your reaction to the bomb.
But the reaction isn't really part of what we're talking about. Like I said, this isn't really about the Israeli stuff. This is about him being a full-blown communist. And I'm going to expose him as a full-blown communist to everybody here today. I haven't seen a lot of people get into this. A lot of people call him a communist, but they don't explain why he's a communist. A lot of people defend him as being a socialist. I'm going to explain that today. So this is the main point here, right? So he knows he's a propagandist. He identifies as a propagandist, and on the show that isn't playing to the people that actually watch him on his Twitch channel, he's openly saying that he's a propagandist. Now, the following clip is about his reaction to a bombing on a hospital and all this other stuff. So this is, you know, forget about that. It's not out of context. This is the whole thing. This is all that matters for the purpose of this clip here. Okay. I was going to do this stuff, but we don't really need to do this stuff. I mean, we don't really need to do the Houthi stuff either. But here's what I do want to say. The commenter was defending Hamas, and they were defending the Houthis. The Hamas commits rapes on a level that is, like, insane. The idea that there aren't people publicly coming out and saying that they were raped on October 7th is total bullshit. It is a complete lie. There's video evidence of it. Again, this isn't about that, so I'm not going to get into it right now. Look it up yourself. Stop just being like, all this stuff is lies, it's all propaganda, blah, blah, blah. You know? Yeah, I know. It would be pretty crazy. But, you know, if you're of certain dissents, you're allowed to say certain things. Because part of these people's belief system is that you can actually be racist against people as long as they're of a higher race than you, right? If that race that you're being racist against has more power, then it's not racism, because racism is power. This is the reconstruction and rewriting of our language that they're doing intentionally. And I actually get into that a little bit further. As far as the Houthi pirate thing is concerned, the Houthis are a terrorist group. Whether you accept that or not is your problem. They're a designated terrorist group. This is another thing this commenter said. So they are a designated terrorist group by the U.S. government, okay? He hosted somebody who he believed was a Houthi pirate. It doesn't really matter if he was or he wasn't. And it does insofar as the law is concerned, but it doesn't insofar as what you should think about this guy is concerned, okay? So I'm not going to get into the details here, but here's a few things we've got going on. They frequently attack civilians. Again, we're skipping past Hamas. We're going right to the Houthis really quick because there's a lot more people defending the Houthis for some reason. They regularly attack civilians. Okay, this is just a small list of the civilians killed by Houthis. You've got village raids and home demolitions in 2025. You've got house bombings with 12 to 20 killed. You've got patrol station strikes with 21 killed. You've got the Taiz urban shelling with 242 killed. You've got merchant vessel missile attacks with 3 crew members killed. Red Sea naval attacks, 3 crew members killed. Prisoner shootings, 16 detainees killed. Migrant detention airstrike, 68 migrants killed. Now, this isn't even... Well, reverse racism isn't a thing. It's just racism, right? You know? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's fake, aka modern caste system. Yeah, I mean, it's all about... These people believe that it's all about power dynamics. That's what they believe. And the reason why they believe that is because they're actually communists. They're revolutionary communists who are fighting in order to overturn the system and to bring about the communist revolution. Like I said, I get into that a little bit more later. I'm trying to rush past this Houthi stuff really quick. That way I can prove a point here. Okay. So whether or not you believe that what the reason why the Houthis are killing innocent people, taking prisoners, starving them, and torturing them until they die in some cases, whether you think that the reason they're doing that is good, the fact is that they're doing it, and it doesn't matter what the reason is, okay? You can't be okay with these types of actions at the same time... Let me turn this music back on, sorry. At the same time as you're trying to, to say that they're the good guys, right? You can't be the, like, if Superman was going around and murdering thousands of innocent people, then you wouldn't be able to be like, oh, he's the good guy. He would be the bad guy. He would at least be an anti-hero, right? You can't do this. You can't do this. All right? So they also restored slavery in Yemen. Slavery was basically gone. They brought it back. There's child slaves and child soldiers in the Houthi group and all this other stuff. So we've got more stuff on the Houthis. This is really, I spent a lot of time going over this, but it's really not that important. I mean, we can watch it if you guys, do you guys want to watch this? I've got people in chat. Do you want to watch any of this stuff on the Houthis and how much he loves them? I mean, this has been beaten to death. I want to go over the communist stuff. Of course not. Okay, good. Let's move on then. All right, so let's get into the claims that he is a communist. Okay, Hasan watches a video that explains the difference between socialism and communism, okay? This is a clip from this video, and I just thought it was a really funny clip. I wonder how big I can make it. Hold on, let me see. Okay, it's all messed up, but here you can see socialism, communism, capitalism are all broken up, and then up here, I was looking through the transcript, and I couldn't find "I am not a communist" anywhere. And there is just something beautiful about that that made me laugh. So I wanted to post this here, but let's go over here. Let's pull this clip up.
Socialist. Now, under communism, we have two other ideologies, anarchism and classical Marxism. I won't talk that much about anarchism in this video, that will be for another time, but essentially the difference between Marxism and anarchism is that classical Marxism believes in a transition between capitalism and communism called socialism, whereas anarchism seeks to establish communism directly after the overthrow of capitalism and not go through a transitionary period. That said, anarchists still count as socialists. Now, classical Marxism splits even further into orthodox Marxism and revisionist Marxism.
Owing from a lack of reading theory, if you ask Marxist-Leninists, they will say that that's why they call anarchists anarchides.
Orthodox Marxism.
All right, so this is an old clip. It's from 5 years ago. So he's not really getting into detail on this stuff, and maybe he will later on in the video. It's not really even about that part of it. I wanted you to see for yourself that he was watching this video. And in this video, it's talking about how socialism is the next step toward communism if you're in a capitalist society. That is not just the belief of this system or of this video. It's not just the belief of the individual making the video. He didn't come up with that. That's from Marx, okay? And we're going to examine those claims a little bit here, but I wanted you to see that he knew that. He knew that, watched it, doesn't disagree with it at all, and so that's why we're moving on here. So this is a quick little short that I found.
Let me explain to you one thing really quickly, okay? I like communism. I am not afraid of saying that while I wouldn't consider myself to be a communist, I don't mind communism. I can tell you openly that I agree with anti-capitalist sentiments.
Okay.
So this is really important here for a bunch of different reasons. Why doesn't he identify as a communist? Here in this clip, well, this is why right here. This is it. It's because of this.
But it's interesting that you call me a propagandist, because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital
Circumstances in whatever conflict West in general. And no, I do have to stenograph.
Give me the thing.
One of the
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you
put
even play it.
Okay, I'm going to play the clip. This is your reaction to the bombing of the hospital.
He's a propagandist. So this is the reason why. This is why I agree with communism. I understand. This is Hasan Piker. I agree with communism, but I don't identify as a communist. I also, based on the previous video, I understand that socialism, according to Karl Marx, which we're going to get into here in a second, is the pathway to communism. And also, I am a propagandist. Okay? So this is what Hasan says, not what I'm making up, not what I'm insinuating, nothing I'm taking out of context. This is what he says. This is what he believes. Let's keep watching.
Okay, then why don't you just call yourself a communist? Anti-capitalist
This guy doesn't know what I know because he thinks he's very smart, but he isn't actually.
sentiments aren't going to change our system. Only class struggle is, which is a communist view that Hasan agrees with. He goes on to explain that he agrees with the Marxist view of history that society evolves through different modes of production or different.
Meryl in chat just said, we got him. It's the perfect time for one of these.
I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray. The day you walked away, you were the clock that was ticking in my home. Changed my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love's so hard to find.
we got him.
Okay, so perfect. Anyway, I just wanted to do that really quick. We did get him. So Meryl says he doesn't know what he is. He doesn't truly understand. No, he does. He truly understands what he is, and you'll see very soon that he does. And he knows what he's doing. This is what I keep saying, and people don't understand. The leftist communists that are rioting in the street, that are ambushing police officers and murdering them, which just happened, these people do know what they're doing. They do understand. They are aware of what they're doing. They're evil people. They seek to overthrow the system. You do not hate them enough. This is the truth. This is why I hate communism. This is why I am in favor of revoking the citizenship of communists, whether they were born in this country or not, purely on the basis of their communist belief systems. Hey man, I'm doing good. Good to see you. Welcome to chat. Okay, so this is the whole point of what I'm talking about here. They do know, they know. It depends on which ones we're talking. Not all of them are paid, but some of them are. But that's not the point. What they would do it whether they got paid or not, because the point isn't, they know what they're doing. They know that they're communists, and they know that they're lying about them being socialists. They're pretending to be socialists in order to bring about the communist revolution. Okay? So yeah, I'm on YouTube too, dude. If you want to come over to YouTube, follow the links and hit me with the sub, dude. I could really use the help. I appreciate you reaching out. So we're going into Hasan stuff. I'm going to get into it a little bit more deeply now. So let's finish up this clip here.
Different economic systems. So if you support communism and you agree with the communist view of history, why are you scared of saying I am a communist? And this is my problem with Hasan, man. He gives better analysis than most famous political commentators, but he's afraid to go all in.
He's not afraid. He just knows that if he says he's a communist, he's going to lose people. But if you say you're a socialist, well, a socialist almost won the Democratic nominee in 2020. That's what's going on here. A socialist was almost one of the candidates for presidency. And the only reason that he wasn't is because the Democratic Party likes to shuffle the deck in favor of their preferred candidates. And they also knew that socialism wasn't going to win yet. I'm not full-time streaming yet, but I'm working on it. I have another job, but today I'm free, so I'm good to go. So here, this is I love this guy in this clip because this guy here is a communist talking about another communist, and just his points here are kind of hilarious to me.
And the only logical reason I can think of as to why that is that he's afraid to offend his famous liberal friends by calling himself a communist.
No, he's not. They all know he's a communist, and they're also communists. They're all in on it together.
Or he thinks it's more likely.
These people are media trained. That's the thing. They're media trained. Hey, dude, if you want to hit me up, my email is in my YouTube description. I'd be happy to talk to you, dude. Be happy to talk to you. For sure. I'm already working on some stuff. On my channel, I've got banners and stuff. I do have some on Kick too, though. But yeah.
That Twitch will ban him. And for me, as a public-facing communist, it's like, come on, man. I'd have almost as many followers as you if you combine all 7 of my accounts that have been banned, but I'm not gonna change or hide my views.
Why not what? I missed it. What'd you say?
Or what I am because of those bans. I mean, you could be tactical about what you say to try and not break community guidelines, but I would never go as far as to say I agree with communism, but I'm not gonna call myself a communist. Just say what you are, and say it with your chest.
See, this is where I agree with this communist, but he just doesn't know what I know. You can't usher in the communist revolution by being honest about it, right? That's the problem. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit here. It's Lisa Mia. I think that's how you say it. On my YouTube channel, if you go to the info page, you can hit the about section or whatever it is, and you'll see my email there. Just reach out to me there, and we can totally talk about that, about some banners and stuff, okay? I'd be happy to work with you. I'm working on somebody and redesigning my main character right now. Corbin here. We look a little funky because I've been broke. My little brother's a graphic designer too. So yeah, I've got a few people that are working together on different stuff. But yeah, drop by if you want to chat. If you have any ideas, I'd be happy to hear them. So here we're going to get into the brass tacks of everything going on. Okay. So Karl Marx, in his Critique of Gotha Program, Part 4, Socialism, the transition phase with state power, worker ownership, redistribution to each according to his contribution. Communism, the final phase, classless, stateless distribution to each according to his need. You can't have communism without having socialism first. You need to take away these things to put them into the right places, right? So here's another video we've got here.
Billionaires are not the problem. I never got a job in my whole life, and I started washing dishes at 12 from a poor person.
I'm trying to paint you a picture.
Can't make money.
Is there something wrong with becoming a successful billionaire like Bill Gates? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes. Listen, I'm a simple guy, okay? And I'm not a very smart guy either. But even from where I'm standing, nothing.
It's Lisa. It would be better if you
like
use my email. My Discord's not really set up for that kind of stuff right now. Or hit me up on X. You can hit me on X too. It's X at Corbin Dauster. Same thing. Just send me a DM.
Holding that power. And under capitalism, we have meritocracy to thank for Jeff Bezos and people like him, and the police force to make sure no one questions anything.
The point is he earned it.
They became a billionaire by creating a product or great service that benefits everybody, and we know it benefits us because we pay for it.
No, and all jokes aside, they don't deserve it.
So here he's basically advocating for the removal of not just billionaires, but of all private property, right? So communists have a, I think my Insta's all messed up, but I will do that. I'll do that for you a little after stream. I will do that for you. Okay. I'll check it all out. So the communist belief system is set up in this very specific way. There's a difference to the communists between private property and personal property. Okay, so private property is things like land or anything really that generates an income for you. Socialists are in favor of removing those things and distributing them out to the people. Okay? Well, because he's got a really small head, Hunter. That's why he looks like that.
Profit is exploitation or the labor theory of value. What I'm simply going to say is that wealth is never created in isolation. Every billionaire and millionaire created their wealth with workers who make infinitely less than they do.
With workers and with buyers, okay? So Son Piker here is calling for redistribution of the wealth. That's really the main point. It's not like, you know, really hidden. This isn't even like a context piece, and we've got a lot to go over, so I am going to move forward. If you want to watch the whole video, it's on Real Clear Politics. You can watch it yourself. I'm not hiding anything, okay? This is all very in-your-face stuff. Now, over here, we have a conversation he has about private property. This is going to reinforce what I was just talking about. Okay, and you'll see why it matters here in a second. Just bear
Red
with me
Vienna.
a little bit longer.
Austria is the
Look at this. He does look like he's wearing shoulder pads. Hunter, you're so fucking right. What the fuck? What's up with that? What is going on? Okay. Yeah, he's a 45-year-old man with shoulder pads. Well, what's wrong? It's Lisa. You don't like my... I used to have one. Here's my overlay. All right. Oh, it's gone now. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up. Is it? Did I even take it off screen? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, no. I don't want to mess with stuff too much. I'm going to mess stuff up. I did have one. I did have one before. If you look at one of my older streams, I took it down because it was kind of in the way of stuff, and I didn't really care for it. I kind of liked it better without the overlay. But I'm open to some ideas. Like, I wish that, this is the first time I've ever had a chat here. Man-made deltoids. They're implants. He's got shoulder implants. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, if you have any ideas, I'm happy to hear them. This is a brand new channel, basically. We're like at about a month old, so I'd be super happy to hear whatever thoughts you have. You've got me on Insta. We'll talk there later about that stuff. The synthol, what is that? What are you talking about? Synthol. What? Oh, damn. Okay. Synthol injections. Okay. All right. I'm not interested. I don't want to get into all that. I don't even want to get into all that. All right. So here we go. This is going to take a little bit. We're going to go through this stuff.
the country we're talking about. In Vienna, 65% of
I'm sure you're right,
are
Lisa.
public housing. They are not for profit.
I will
housing,
definitely do that.
It's a concept where the government offers many benefits to develop housing, and then basically have the rent exist specifically to either further develop more public housing or to maintain the housing itself. There are some examples of this even in the Western world. I think, there's a YouTube channel that I was watching. Hold on, I'm gonna give him a shout out. I think it's.
Can you guys hear everything okay? Google image it. Okay. All right, we're gonna do it.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I'm here to take your land. Your private property belongs to the government.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Dude.
It's called like About Here that talked about this in Vancouver. I think there's one example of this.
I'm glad the audio sounds good.
In
Awesome.
Vancouver
Thank you.
that is called. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's a cooperative housing. It's like a cooperative ownership where, the channel is called About Here.
Okay.
And they go
Now,
into
in
it.
this video, I don't want to be accused again of taking him out of context. He's basically going over all of the different reasons why you shouldn't own real estate specifically for the purpose of making money, right? So landlords, no, you're out. Apartment complexes, wrong, gone. Okay, those all need to be owned publicly. Thanks for the follow. I will definitely hit you up later about all that stuff, okay? All that stuff, done, over. Instead, what we do is we have not private property, we have personal property, right? So Hasan goes on later on to explain, well, I own a home. I'm not against private property. I'm against making money off that private property. That's the way he phrases it specifically, right? Because he presents himself as a socialist, but in reality, that even in and of itself is communism. So he calls himself a socialist, he pretends to be pro-socialism, but in reality he is read communism, he understands what Marx said, he says he agrees with it, and he also says here, He knows, because he says we want to abolish private property, but you can own your own home. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about private property for making money off of your product. So here, Marx says the theory of communists may be summed up by a single sentence: abolition of private property. Well, did I come up with this whole distinction between private property and personal property, and whether one makes you money and whether one doesn't? Well, no, I didn't. Marx did, okay? I simply want to make it unaffordable for people to generate and accumulate capital from a home they are not living inside of. That's what it means to decommodify housing. This is Hasan Piker from that video we were just watching. Okay? Communist Manifesto, 1848. The distinguishing feature between communism is not the abolition of property generally, but the abolition of bourgeois property, property that makes you money. Okay? So that's where it all comes down to. If you look it up, it was Marx who made that initial distinction between private property and personal property. So once you start to realize that it's not just that he says he's a socialist, it's not just that he's going, which is the in-between, according to Marx. Okay, let's start here. He says he's read communists. He says he's read Marx. He doesn't identify as a communist, but he agrees with communism. Okay, not cool already. Then he goes on to say, well, socialism is what I like. And then when you look into it, socialism is the next step forward into getting communism. Because if you're in a fully capitalistic system, you can't advocate for communism because it's not realistic and people think you're a psycho. And then he says, I'm a propagandist. I want to remind you one more time. This is just so freaking important. He says this is him.
But it's interesting that you call me a propagandist, because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital got bombed.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
Lisa, I'm not going to
talking
say where
about-
I'm from.
No, I'm just saying.
I lived in
gonna-
Florida for a
I'm
while,
saying I am.
but
Okay,
I
well
don't,
then
I don't
I'm
say
saying
where
I
I'm
am.
at.
I just
Before
want to
you
put
even play it.
Okay, I'm going to play the clip. This is your reaction to the bombing of the hospital the other night.
Okay, so he's a propagandist. He says so straight up. He says so. His words, in context. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows that he's advocating for communism. He knows that he's hiding it by saying he's a socialist. He knows that he's saying he wants all of the same things that communists want, including abolition of property that makes you money, private property. He's hiding behind the title of socialism, Meryl, not the title of communism, but I think that's what you meant. He's hiding behind the title of socialism, but he is in reality a communist. He believes in all the things that communists believe. He says the same things that communists say. He makes the same distinctions that communists make, and he's advocating for the next step forward into getting communism. He's a communist. Through and through. There's no way around this. Okay? So this is why, let's go back to the top here. Everyone on the right calls him a communist, but he's a socialist. Well, this is why people say that. No, not at all. Thank you for participating in chat, Meryl. It's awesome that you're here. I really appreciate it. And all your comments across my videos. I'm so glad that you're enjoying my content, really. Everyone on the right calls him a communist, but he's a socialist. Well, that's because he's not actually a socialist. He's a fucking communist. This is the reason why, dude. This is the reason why. The right doesn't call people this just because it makes them feel good. They call them that because they are really well read about what communism is because they're afraid of it. And they should be. And they should be. Okay? At least 100 million people have been dead from executions, famine, forced labor, and other human rights abuses. You have concentration camps in China. Right now, today, as we speak, there are concentration camps in China. Concentration camps that Disney thanked for letting them film near their property. Okay? You have gulags. You have social credits. You have all this different shit. This stuff has resulted in the death of over 100 million people. And just to put that into perspective, $6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. I was pretty sure it was 6. Okay? That is several hundred times more. So there's a good reason why people who don't like communism are well read on it. It's because they're scared of it, because they don't want this shit to happen again. And so people like Hasan, who are propagandists, who are media trained, that's what he went to school for. He graduated cum laude, I believe, from Miami. And he was media trained. He knows what he is doing. He knows what he's doing. Okay? There's just no way around that. This last section here is just me kind of explaining how treason works according to the law. And I basically said it at the beginning. The commenter was right. It's not really treason yet. He is protected by the First Amendment. And I went a little over the top. But, you know, the guy says crazy shit all the time. Kill Rick Scott, he says. It was on the line for instructing his audience to kill Rick Scott. And you can't even say that this was just hyperbolic. He was saying it in jest. If you watch the whole clip, he was not. He was not. Okay? The only thing that you needed to get rid of from his statement was the if part. You know what? Let's watch it. Forget about it. We're already here. We're already 52 minutes in.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him the current, what is his current office?
Okay, that doesn't matter. So clearly, it wasn't a joke. He wasn't saying it in jest. He wasn't being hyperbolic. He was clearly directing people to do it. And what matters the most is that was in a month of this. That was within a month of this happening. Okay? So within the same month he says this, he makes this statement. You guys think that you're so cool and you're on the right side of history. Okay? But this guy right here, the CEO of United Healthcare, he had a wife. He had kids. And he also has a fiduciary duty. Okay? A fiduciary duty. Rick Scott, it's a little different. He's guilty, I think. I think that what he did was wrong. I think he's guilty. I think he did terrible things in the state of Florida. He defrauded Medicare. His point is taken. Okay? But now, I hate you, Hasan Piker, because you also told me to kill him in the same month that this happened. So you're hiding it really well. You're doing your job. You're very well trained for media to be able to hide the fact that you're a propagandist and tell your audience covertly to kill people like this. But that's what you're doing. And I'm not going to fall for it. Okay? And I'm not going to listen to these people who are yelling in my comment section of that video, telling me, oh, well, you're not showing your face, so you're a pussy, and blah, 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 blah. Well, you're not showing your fucking face. Shut up. It's the internet, bro. Nobody fucking cares. Oh, well, he's not actually a communist. He's a socialist. No, he's a liar. He's a chronic liar. In fact, actually, I am going to go back to one of these. This is a couple minutes back.
I mean, the Israeli defense minister literally said, we're
This
shutting
is an
off the
old
electricity,
video.
we're shutting off the food supply.
I don't understand
And we're
that.
shutting off the water into Gaza because we are
For
not...
context, this is Hasan, as we know. The other guy is Ethan Klein. He is Jewish. His wife is Israeli. Had to serve in the IDF. He's been there multiple times, lived there abroad while he went to school for several years.
Human animals, or a better translation...
He's also Hamas. He's and anti-Israel and their war on Hamas and the way that they're going about it.
I think was beasts.
So these
but
people
ultimately,
agree.
Though that's collective punishment. It is a violation of the Geneva Suggestions. I don't want to call it conventions.
Wait till you hear this.
It is
Wait till you hear
This
this.
has happened for
You
far
haven't
too
even
long.
heard it
You
yet.
can't attack the press. You can't attack, medics. They killed. There was the Red Crescent guy.
Again,
who was
we're going
crying
further back than
in
we
his
need to because we're going to be accused of taking him out of context if we don't. So if this is boring and has nothing to do with the fucking point, then don't blame me. Blame all the Hasan supporters who say I keep taking him out of context. Because this has literally nothing to do with the point that's about to be fucking made. But I have to roll it back 2 more minutes to show you nonsense. Because otherwise, I'm going to be accused of taking him out of context.
At this time, I want to turn my attention to some of the very evil takes I've heard some prominent folks making about
Remember, this is a Jew.
Israelis. Here is
Who's
one such
anti
example
the
of a
war
dude,
against
and
Hamas.
this guy is very popular. He has 1.6
He wants
million
to protect more Palestinians,
subscribers.
and
He
really
is
everybody
a
does. Palestinians
very
don't
popular
deserve the horrible things that are
political
happening to them.
YouTuber
I can't see anything. You
called
gotta-
Second Thought. Sorry, this.
Oh yeah, he's my friend. I like JT.
All right, well then, you tell me what you think about this. He said, "What's going on in occupied Palestine is unprecedented. No doubt we'll have wall
Is it on? Wait, hold on. I don't know my.
I don't want to
glasses
talk
today.
during this because it's
I'm not gonna be able to see
insane
it. I
what's
just had
about to
click
happen.
on it so I can read it. But go ahead. You can read it out. You can read it out loud.
Here, you know what? Let me show you this
Is
video.
it on the Google Doc?
Let me show you the video first. This will be easier for you. He basically says the same thing here. So here he is doing a podcast.
I've been on. I think is this deprogram? I've been on the podcast.
I don't know what it's called, but this is just a clip from
Yeah.
So here's his take on this, and let's listen.
And Faisal Sayyid says, did the Palestinians actually take civilian hostage, or is that fake news? I don't care.
Yeah, the occupiers
I don't-
are not civilian.
First of all, just straight off the bat,
The person that's talking is Hakim. He is a doctor in Iraq, and of course, just to put this into a decent frame of reference for those who are unfamiliar, I think he will probably have a much more ruthless position on the matter, considering how he feels about American forces and what they've done to his
this
home,
I'm pretty
his
sure is
family.
all Second Thought.
No, the one who said.
No, I know. But
Yeah.
Here.
And Faisal Sayyid says, did the Palestinians
Okay, so really quick, we are not even a second into this clip, and something horrible was said. I don't care if Hamas took hostages, which, by the way, the hostages there were not just Israeli. There's Americans, and there are Americans that are still being held by Hamas terrorists in Gaza. Still, today. At the time of the recording of this, because this was a year ago, most of the Israeli hostages were still alive. Many of them are dead, raped, or have been returned. And some have been returned raped. I don't want to say it, it's a horrible thing to say, but I just want to make that super duper clear. A year ago, people like him were making these excuses already. This is a power dynamic thing. We were talking earlier about how that's evil, how that's still racist. This is why it matters. This is the extent. When you take in these ideas of relativism, they're okay when you're talking about whether you have a Pop-Tart or a cinnamon roll for breakfast. But when you take them out to their extremes, this is what you get. Okay? It starts off as, oh, well, it doesn't matter what race you are. We can have totally segregated bathrooms because what matters is that there's no white people because white people are the ones that hold the power, and so you can't be racist against them. Well, that seems okay if you're a retard at first. But then what happens is now you have Israelis being held hostage by terrorists, and the terrorists are still the good guys because the Israelis hold the power. That's where this goes. And let's not forget, what do we have right here? What do we have right here, huh? Let me make it a little bigger for those of you in the back. Okay? Look at that. If you weren't watching up until now and it wasn't abundantly clear that Hasan Piker is a fucking communist and he's lying about it, it identifies as a propagandist in order to lie about it, it should be pretty clear by now. I think I've painted a very clear picture. This is one thing that I haven't seen people talking about. People talk about how he's a terrorist-loving like monster in other ways, but they don't talk about how he lies about being a socialist. They just accept the fact that he's a socialist, or they just say he's a communist and they don't explain why. This is why. This is one of his favorite shows. He's friends with all these people. He's been on it. Well, you have to understand, this guy who just made excuses for people being taken hostage by Hamas, he's Iraqi. And he's not as what's the word I'm thinking of here? He's not as privileged as the Israelis. That's what this stuff leads to. That's the extreme this takes you to. If you follow that same logical thought of privilege, power, this is where you get to. If you're taken hostage, but you're white, and the other person is in a different class or race that holds quote unquote less privilege, then you are expendable.
Hostage, or is that fake news?
So wait, who's talking there?
That's Hakim.
Okay, so second thought's the one who says, I don't care, and laughs.
Wait, say it.
I don't care.
This
No,
guy.
that's Hakim.
I don't.
The guy with the accent.
Yeah, that's Hakim. Second thought is an American.
So second thought is the guy who's asking the question.
No, Hakim is the one who read it. He's reading it from chat. It's a super chat.
Did the Palestinians actually take civilian hostage, or is that fake news? I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he agrees with him, so let's just fucking listen
go
to
on.
the clip.
The occupiers
I don't-
are
I-
not civilians. That is what it comes
Yeah.
down to. Like, if imagine,
French-
like if
Sorry, go on.
The occupiers in Tel Aviv, by the way. Which we knew at the time that this happened. At the time of this recording, we knew that the people who were taken hostage were from Tel Aviv. I'm sorry,
Germany, let's say Germany to be non.
That's him, right?
I think,
Yeah.
I think so.
Controversial.
And not that it matters.
invaded the United States, and they said, you know what, Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. That is, there are no civilians there. And
So
according to second thought, he says that every Israeli is an occupier, and there are no citizens there. In response to decapitating babies, which I can now say.
There are two different schools of thought here.
It's not even done yet.
The first
This isn't even the,
and the
the
taking
hard
the
crazy
comments
part
is
yet,
based.
Meryl.
Yeah, of course. The 1948ers believe that there's two different schools of thought within, I would say, anti-Zionism. Those who believe that all matter of settlements that were propped up even in the inception of the Israeli nation state are unjustifiable, and that they are settlers. So they extend beyond your perspective that you agree with, which is
because
West Bank is a settler occupation.
I think it's an extremely evil thing to say, what he said.
Let me ask you this.
No. What do you think? What he said is evil?
I think it is, one, unproductive, and two, it does not meet the realities on the ground.
How can he not just accept that that's an evil thing to
And
say?
it's not a viable solution.
Why can he not accept that that's an evil thing to say? Well, again, it's very simple. We've laid it out very thoroughly up until now, and this is going to be it. And then we're going to move on to the Epstein stuff and all the new news, okay? But he is a communist who is advocating for communism, who's calling it socialism, and identifies as a propagandist. He's media trained, and he knows that the ideology of communism doesn't allow for that action to be evil. It doesn't allow for that, because if that's evil, then removing the bourgeoisie from their homes and farms and taking them over by the state is not evil. Okay? Because if that's not evil, then it's also not evil to take the capitalists and put them in gulags. Because if that's evil, then you aren't allowed to disappear dissidents in your communist regime. He knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing. The people who say these things are aware of what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're evil. These are evil people, and you need to beware of them. They're intelligent, they're capable, and we need to be doing something about it. This is why I have such a radical stance on communists. This is why I don't accept the idea of live and let live when it comes to communism. This is why I say things like McCarthy didn't go far enough. These people are evil. They know what they're doing. They're using idiots to riot in the streets and kill cops in order to bring about a revolution that will allow them to usher in their communist utopia, because it is their belief that if they are successful in that endeavor, that they will be the ones in charge with all the power. That's what they believe. Okay? So rant over. I think we sufficiently made our point. Don't think this guy's going to convert to a subscriber, but I hope he does. I hope he sees that I'm correct here and that he stops watching this stuff and gets some help, talks to more friends and family, and starts seeing things from other people's opinions. Yeah, so, wow. That was quite a bit. I'm kind of tired, man. I really want to get into this Epstein stuff, though. I've been obsessing over the Epstein stuff since I was like, I don't know, 16, I want to say, something like that. I heard about it pretty young. 16, 17 is the first time I heard about it. And then after that, it was like a few years later, a story dropped. Let me see what I've got. My doc on this wasn't quite done because I had to go and do something. But we can get into it a little bit. We don't need to do the whole story, right? We could do the story, we could do the whole timeline, the whole story another time. Pretty much everybody knows kind of the lead up, but if you don't know about the Epstein stuff by now, I mean, where have you been? I know, dude. It's not good. Like, everything we're talking about today is super negative. I want y'all to, let's just take a minute. Let's take a minute, and we need to kind of decompress. There was a lot of really, really deep shit going on there. So let's actually unwind and kind of chill out. We're going to do a quick little... No, we're going to get into it. We're going to do the Epstein stuff. What the recent Epstein stuff. We're going to get into it. We're going to break it up a little bit. We're going to have a moment we're going to do a quick little try not to laugh challenge, okay? And so here's how this is going to go down. I'm going to try not to laugh. And if I do laugh, then I have to do 5 push-ups. How about that? Is that fair? And then if you want to participate at home, I would encourage you to as well. Well, you need sleep if you need to go to sleep. Everybody needs to sleep, but it's still early. We've got time. So we're going to take some time. We're going to watch some of this Try Not to Laugh challenge. And if we laugh, we're going to work out a little bit. And as long as, and then once we're done, we'll get back to the news. We'll cover the news for another 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. Okay? All right, so if you're watching now, make sure you head on over to YouTube and subscribe and hit the bell. Make sure you're following me on X and Kick and all that other stuff. 10 o'clock, we've got time. It's not 10 o'clock, it's 8:50 Eastern. Oh, I just doxed myself. It's 8:50 Eastern time. But yeah, I mean, so we're going to watch this. We're going to have a little bit of a breather because that was a lot. I know I don't feel good after breaking all that stuff down. My head hurts. I'm fuming. I can't stand this stuff. It really drives me crazy. And remember, when you have a friend who's a communist who's saying the same things Hasan Piker is saying, it's just a final thing to wrap this up. The only thing that's actually going to work on these people, the ones that are like default dummy liberal, right? The ones who are not thinking about it at all. Kick is a channel. It's another streaming channel like YouTube. You don't have to worry about it. You know, I'd like you to, but if not, hey, whatever, you know. But I want you to remember that when you encounter these people in your daily life and they're saying these crazy things like Hasan Piker is saying, you need to tell them, okay? You are on the wrong side of history. It's the only thing that's going to make them think twice about this stuff, okay? All right, let's have a laugh really quick. Let's watch some silly videos. If we laugh, we lose. If we lose, we do some push-ups, okay? What's this? What's going on? Damn it! I didn't expect that. Alright, we got 5. You got 5 out of me on the first video. I was so worried about getting copyright striked that I was like taken off guard by that. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy. Easy. Okay.
What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be taking a look at some of the funniest clips online, and we are going to be trying not to laugh. So stick around because the last ones are definitely going to get you. Get ready because this is Top
We'll
Things.
subscribe. Everybody subscribe to Top Things.
No way, bro.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, hold your hand up. You gotta put your hand.
Is he gonna squirt milk? No. All right, 5 more. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Okay, easy 5. That's 5. That's 10 altogether. Getting a good workout going. All right, we're a minute in. We've lost twice. We need to lock in, boys.
Some people appreciate things like these. Others just take advantage.
These are the cutest thing I've ever seen. Every single one of these has such
like
a cute little
butt
nubbin
plug.
on the top. I love them. Oh my god.
Damn it. I didn't pre-watch. That really shouldn't count. I didn't like laugh. We're gonna let that one slide. I didn't really laugh. I huffed. I went, huh. Oh. I wouldn't drink that.
Out of all the holes that he could have in this shirt, it had to be one on that specific spot.
I don't know. I think it's kind of hot.
Billy. What? Oh my god.
She's holding the shirt up.
How do you manage to do that? What? What? Get that nipple out. What nipple? How many do you got? Shut up, Paul.
Oh, wow. That's great.
What are you doing paying attention anyway?
I can't laugh, but I wish I could.
Tell her she looks gorgeous. Nice tits. Oh.
I disagree.
Let
They're not
us
that nice.
take a look at how it looks when you blow the candle out from both ends.
Maybe a C minus. My girlfriends are better.
I can do it.
She kind of looks like Kathy Griffin. Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh.
Sister's shoulder technique.
你看这么好。这么好。
I think she might have overreacted a little bit. I'm really trying not to laugh. I'm enjoying this quite a bit, though. It's just a little lizard. I would be so happy if I just look over and there was a lizard on my shoulder.
That comes his
all
way.
of a sudden.
Куда пропал? Пошли.
No way. No way. That can't be real.
Guys, look, if I was a tree, this would be it. It's literally my color palette.
Oh, that's true. It is.
When you are at the
It's like
store
exactly the
and
same.
you have to get your friend a Coke.
Skal vi se. Skal jeg share a coke med Karo, Nina, Adrian eller
Man, that is one of the names of all time. Holy smokes.
Okay, open it.
That's so mean.
So this is what it looks like when someone clearly misses the memo.
Oh no. What you don't know is that he's on the third floor. That's the part they don't tell you.
When will moms ever get some peace? Just enough so that they can actually start a new book.
Mommy, I found seashells.
Oh, yeah, that's a rock. That's cool.
Thank you.
I love a rock.
I'm gonna go find some more.
Okay, just careful when you're running.
That's totally normal. It happens. It happens all the time. All right. I think it's time to move on. We had a good time with this. I had to do 10 push-ups. I'm holding it back, but I don't want to just watch this guy's whole video for free, right? Like I want to get individual memes later. I'm actually going to watch my favorite meme with you guys, but make sure you head over to Top Things channel and subscribe and give them a like. We like memes here, so let's watch one more of my favorite memes and then we'll go forward because I really need a palate cleanser before we get into this nasty crap we're about to talk about on the Epstein stuff. So this is my favorite meme of all time.
Farting on my roommate's door, ha.
Did you see it? On the left side of the door frame, barely visible on camera, a white translucent
Oh man, I could watch that video 1,000 times and still laugh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's talk about child sex grooming. Yay! Let's talk about child sex trafficking. And the White House. Oh my gosh, so exciting and fun. All right. So I've got a bit of a timeline here. It's not quite finished. As you can see, we kind of hit a spot here. Like I said, I had to go and do some stuff, but we don't really need to get into all the backstory here. We really just need to kind of talk about what happened. So let's see if we can find memo on Epstein. Let's take a look here. So it finds no client list. Perfect. Here we go. So, a review ordered by President Donald Trump appointed leadership of the Justice Department and the FBI found no evidence that notorious deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list. Deceased child sex predator Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list of associates whom he blackmailed or conspired with to victimize dozens of women. So, as of right now, client list is one person or two people. It's Prince Andrew and it's Jeffrey Epstein. Those are the only two people on the client list. And then everything else was destroyed, presumably. The department has also released hours of purported footage as part of a review, which officials say further confirms Epstein died by suicide while in custody in his jail cell in 2019. Contradicting conspiracy theories long embraced or spread by allies of President Trump and others, the memo is likely to generate outrage among those who have claimed Epstein's known high-profile associates could be implicated in his crimes. According to the FBI and DOJ review, no further charges are expected in connection with their probes into Epstein, as investigators did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Since we're just getting into all this stuff, I am going to start by saying really quick, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for all my future videos, and I'm glad you're here with me today, going over all this stuff, okay? I want to find the memo itself. Gosh. Let's see. Because, yeah, we know about this stuff. So, basically, Epstein, everybody had known since, like, 2002 that this guy, excuse me, was, like, an evil child predator. Nobody was doing anything about it until in 2018, there was a big news story that dropped out of, I think, the Miami Herald. And that raised alarm bells and eventually led to the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. During his time in prison, he, quote-unquote, killed himself. But in reality, everybody is pretty sure that he was murdered. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, everyone pretty much agrees on this. The story was crazy, the way he did it was wild, the sheets in these prisons are specifically made to prevent them from hanging themselves and doing things like this. So, the whole idea is kind of wild. It's kind of crazy. Everything surrounding the event doesn't make sense. Both of the security guards were passed out. There's no security footage of the cell at the time that he killed himself, but there is at other times. They lost that footage. The guy who was with him in the cell was moved from the cell the night before. Just a bunch of weird stuff happened, and all that other stuff. So, let's back out of that. I wanted to find the actual memo. Here we go. Alright, so here's the thing. This is basically explaining that there is no client list. Okay, all the material that they have is all child pornography. They can't show that to people for obvious reasons. They don't want to, and it would be illegal, and people don't really even want to see it. Unless, of course, someone in the background of it is, you know, Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Nobody wants to see that stuff. So, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but basically it's saying all the stuff we just said. Epstein killed himself. There's no client list. All the information we have is all child pornography, and we're not going to release that. There's really nothing to go off of. And the only thing that's really missing out of this is that when all this stuff started a few months back, Pam Bondi had to go to the FBI field office in New York to recover this data. This data was being held by that field office, and at the time there were reports of people with burn bags and stuff like that leaving out the back and all this other stuff. They were incinerating the evidence, and then a truckload of evidence was brought to Pam Bondi. That truckload of evidence could have been anything, and at the time we talked about it a little bit. There's no reason to believe that the information that they had gotten delivered to them from that FBI field office would have been accurate, would have been real, would have been complete. There's no reason to believe that at the time. My issue isn't with really even that. My issue is with everything else surrounding it. You have this parading out of people with the quote-unquote Epstein doc phase 1 drop. There's only been a phase 1. There's never been anything else since. Everybody's shut up about it since it happened. I think that they jumped the gun at, like, good faith, trying to be as good faith as possible about it, is that they jumped the gun. They thought they could get it. They couldn't get it. It was already destroyed. They thought that maybe they might uncover something important as they were going through it, or they thought they had something. It is a huge cover-up. Really, I mean, that's really what it is. Let's not lie to each other. Oh, man, I'm sleepy. Let's not lie to each other. This is just a huge cover-up. All right? Meryl's right. I'm just coping. This is a huge cover-up. Everybody's involved. There's a shadow government in charge of everything, and we have no control over anything in our government. Everybody is being controlled by a few banking trillionaires that you don't even know the names of. They're so rich that they don't know what to do with themselves. And Trump had that super weird... Oh my god, I have to show you that. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. Okay. This was so weird.
Released yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein. It left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the death?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
She says all the same stuff we said. That was weird. That was so weird. Everything about his response was weird. I didn't like it at all. It seems suspicious as hell. It seems like he's up to something. He knows something that he can't tell us. He did something he can't talk about. Something happened. Now I see this up here, and we like Sky News here. This is the Sky News household. So we're going to watch this one really quick, and honestly, I thought I could do more tonight, but I really can't. I'm so tuckered out. Going over all that communist shit really took the wind out of my sails. I got to tell you.
Kash Patel, the FBI director, I think does have a problem,
Let's see.
Josh.
Do we actually hear from him?
Jeffrey
No,
Epstein.
this is a bullshit clickbait thumbnail. So, yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. We don't know nothing about nothing here. We really don't. Everything's been covered up. The truth is out there. Actually, it probably isn't. For 4 years, the people who stood to gain the most from that information being released, if Trump was on the list, had it. And then when the people who had nothing to gain from getting it got it, then it didn't. Yeah, I'm mentally exhausted. Then the people who got it didn't have anything to release. So that's really all there is to it, guys. That's just it. Oh, this little here. Let me show you this before I go. First of all, thank you so much for hanging out, sticking around, subscribing, paying attention for the whole video, and being here for this live. It's been a long hour and a half. We went over a lot of stuff, and it was a little hard to keep up with everything. But tell your friends to come by and subscribe if they like news and you think they'd like me and my takes. I try to call balls and strikes. I try to be honest to the best of my ability and tell no lies. If I ever lie, tell me in chat and I will correct it immediately. But before I go for the day, I do want to give you a quick little sneak peek at this file here. Okay, this is a documentary that I have all the data for, and everything's written out. It's handed off to an editor because I'm not very good at this kind of stuff to finish editing it up on nihilism. Okay, so I am working. When I'm not posting, I'm working on stuff. I'm always writing videos. I'm thinking of new ideas for content. I'll be cutting, editing, scheduling, all that stuff. If you or a friend of yours is a clipper, I could really use some help. I recently realized that there's a feature. I've been struggling with conversion. Okay, so let me show you something. On my channel over the past, few weeks, about a month now, I've gotten a ton of subscriber or views. I've gotten more than 16,000 views. I don't want to show my back page here. But I've gotten more than 16,000 views. And then on these two videos, I've got 200, which is a lot for me. Because if you look at the rest of them, it's really low. It's, you know, 15, 11, 29, 5, 7, 21, 18, 26, right? So we don't have a ton of stuff. But then I have these shorts here. And if you look at the views on these shorts, look at all the views here. Tons and tons and tons of views on these shorts, right? So my shorts are doing really well, but I realize that there's this thing you can do. So when you click on a short right here, there's a little spot where if you actually go and you clip it from the original video, there's a little thing here where you can click on it that brings you to the full live. I mean, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. That would have been so nice to know. So I've been cutting and clipping all this stuff, and I could really use I could just really use some help. I could use some help cutting this stuff. It's really difficult to do. They do get a lot of views, but the problem is that they don't get any conversion. Conversion is what we need, because we're getting a lot of eyeballs on us, but nobody's subscribing. It's kind of a shame. It's terrible, really. I think part of it was that our audio's been really scuffed, and you know, for somebody who's coming by for the first time, even if they like what I have to say, even if they like what I have to say, then they're not going to be subscribing necessarily if they think that, like, oh, well, the quality is low because the audio is scuffed, right? So that's a problem, and so yeah, we fixed that today. The audio was good. All the videos were easy to hear. I'm easy to hear. I set up a gate on my microphone so it sounds a little bit better. No, it's not a programmer's job. Really, you could do it if you wanted to, actually. If you find a clip, so it's got to be 3 minutes. Reality. But, like, let me show you. So if you go over, let's go to my last live here, right? So view my channel, live. We'll go to this one here. Workers. Okay, so from here, you can go and, let's see, where is it? There will be a section where you can hit clip right here, okay? And then if you clip it, it'll give you all these tools, and once it's clipped, it'll get turned into a short, and then that short will lead back to this video. So that's, you know, that's kind of the situation. You know, I can't pay anybody to do it, but if your son likes my stuff and he wants to help, I'd be happy to have him. Anybody, really. This is something fans can do, subscribers, all that stuff. So anyway, if you guys are into it and you want to help me out, that'd be great. But the biggest help would be if you sent your friends over to subscribe, you shared this video with some friends of yours, and you like and comment on the content. But we're wrapping up for today. I really appreciate everybody being here. I want you all to have a great night. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You could do it right now if you wanted to. That option's there for everybody on every video. And that'll be Corbin signing off for the day. Take it easy, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, music. Okay, good night. Everyone be calm and relaxed. Night, night. Night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Hug your family. Kiss your children. And your husband and wife. Give them big hugs. Tuck yourself in. Have some tea. Don't think about the news for a while. Let me do that for you. Okay?